Hello, everybody, and I just want to say thank you for joining me today. We're doing a little talk on leadership, something that is massively passionate for me. As we go down the journey of life, I realize that everybody has influence, and when a leader gets better, everyone gets better. And so I've taken a journey down a path to continue to grow myself, to grow the people around me, because as we continue to learn, and we've realized that it's an endless journey. If I could share a couple of nuggets of wisdom with everybody that I've learned along the way, or I continue to learn, that would be amazing. One of the things that people constantly ask me is, where do I get my leadership principles from? And I always take them back to this book. This is where we start. It's an oldie but a goodie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's massive in its intricacies of how easy influence is. How to Win Friends and Influence People talks a lot about just the day-to-day things and how we react to people, how we act towards them, how we learn from them as our interactions. And so one thing that we used to call it chapter 5, now it's chapter 2 in the second part of the book, but it's called A Sure Way of Making Enemies and How to Avoid It. And the principle is that when we talk to people and tell them that they are wrong and we are right, all of a sudden we've created a division between two people. Now, the number one thing that I always talk about is relationships. The number one thing in anything that you do, whether it's business, marriage, church, anything like that, is relationships. It's not about the structure, it's not about the business in itself, but it's about the relationship. And so what we're trying to do is not create a division within the relationships. A couple of quotes out of this chapter that I've really enjoyed is Galileo once said, "You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him find what's within himself." Lord Chesterfield said, "Be wiser than other people if you can, but do not tell them so." And Socrates, which I love, is, "The only thing I know is that I know nothing." And so if you walk into a relationship or a conversation, whether it's with your child, an employee, a friend, an employer, what we do is we realize that we go into that situation understanding that we know nothing. And what happens is that we become inquisitive of whatever they say. We never walk in trying to be right. We never walk in trying to move our own point or whatever we're trying to bring across. What we're trying to do is we're trying to learn everything about what they're trying to communicate with us. So maybe we can learn a new nugget, we can learn something about them, or we can learn something that's going to bring our relationship closer. Like I said before, everything is going to be about the relationship between you and whoever you're talking to. And so to bring that together, remember, you don't want to write your way out of the relationship. Always go in being humble and trying to figure out what you can do. You think about that in a marriage. If everybody comes together and wants to be right, what it is it becomes a battle. And a stepping stone, a stepping stone, a stepping stone. And the idea of that argument is to break the other person. You're trying to break them down until that they submit basically to what you are saying is right. But imagine both people came into that conversation where they wanted to learn entirely about the other person. And so if we think about that, each and every one of us comes from different experiences. Our lens, which we see the world through, is entirely different. And so if the other person is looking through a different lens and we're not trying to see their point of view from where they're at, we will never see the world through their eyes and therefore never understand where they're coming from. So in that marriage and in that conflict, if we never actually try to take a second to see where our spouse is coming from through their lens, then we'll never have the opportunity to actually truly see what makes them happy and what we can do to grow that relationship. Remember, it's not about being right, it's about the right relationship. I want to thank you for joining me today, and see you next time.